Hello, hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Nice, on time and early. No. Let me just give me just a second. I'm going to put this in the Facebook group so you can watch it again. Oh. Hello, Mark. It's nice when you put your cameras on like this. I can recognize you. This is how we build a bit of a relationship. So,
Afternoon, Guillaume.
good afternoon. Oh. All right, so okay, I think we're ready to go. Hope you're well. Battling with my camera. Don't worry, Mark. It's fine. You know, you are forgiven. Mr. King is here as well. It's good to see you guys. Thank you very much for having the video on. As I said, this makes it less awkward when you come to me at some events and and go, hey, you know, I've seen you on the call, and I can actually relate and remember you. So that's really cool and awesome. So thanks a lot. Okay, cool. So a little bit of an update this week. So what's been happening in the background? So we continue. So thanks a lot for the feedback we've had, you know, from you guys so far. And as always, you know, we're really appreciative of it. This is how we feed into the roadmap and add more things. So we had some as well as some really short-term tactical little cool little features and improvements, things we're working on. We've also had some really interesting strategic positioning on some like bigger movers and really cool stuff we are going to build for this year. And then so there's going to be some very, very interesting things I'll be able to share with you in more details as I've got more of a timeline in front of me. But there's going to be an off-market deal marketplace. There's going to be a mobile app. There's going to be quite a lot of really cool things. So I can't wait to push things along and show you the progress on the other side. So that'd be really, really, really cool. And yeah, get you guys to test out these things. And more short term. So the guys are looking at improving the responsiveness of things, making things flow a bit faster and things like that. And again, I've seen some highlights of the direct on the campaign manager, which is coming into place quite well, and so that's going to be quite nice to see come through in the coming few weeks, you know. So that's going to be quite nice. So this is your time now, where we go through some of your questions and things like that. You get some access to me, and that's it. Yeah, we can go through some more advanced things, questions you have around property filter, the application of property filter in property, and what is it you are trying to achieve, sort of challenges or wins you want to share, or things like that. So do let me know. So I've got just have a quick look on the chat. So yeah, sorry, this read AI thing. Usually getting rid of it. Sorry. Mark says can't reach with the camera. So just to prompt some questions, what I'll do is I'll go into property filter, and I'll go into property filter now and just show you some of certain things you might not know about. I'll try to think of something as this loads, and some of the ways you can use this right now. And then as you put your questions in the chat, I'll jump into you. Oh wow, Shania has done 2 lease option deals. Was that in the last week, or how long did it take? How long did it take you? Is that because the withdrawn property deals, I think it's only been 2 weeks that the feature has been live. So are you saying you've done 2 deals in the last 2 weeks, Shania? What can you?
Yeah. So is it okay for me to share?
Yeah. It's whatever you're happy to share, you know, like so.
No, I'm happy to share. So I love that. I thought, wow, this is amazing. And in a particular area that I'm looking in, I found there were a few nice properties that I knew over time that the capital growth is huge
Yeah.
in the area. So I thought, right, okay. So I found the owners of the properties, and then I found them on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And then I typed up my nice letter, but I sent it to them via social media. And got back to them and spoke to both of them, and they just said, look, we've just fed up with low ball offers, tire kickers, deals falling out of bed. And I just said, well, look, I could take your property in 2 to 5 weeks, and I do it how Mark Shaw taught us how to do it. I can exchange now, and then I'm gonna buy it later on. And they've both said yeah. And yeah, so we're in legals on 2 deals.
Awesome. So just
Within
to share
three days of me seeing them and actually speaking to them on the phone and doing, so I just send off a heads of terms to legals.
That's fantastic. So just to give some context to our people, so a couple of weeks ago we introduced this withdrawn feature over here. So inside any of your lead generators, you know, you had the motivated seller banner, the different status, etc. And we added the withdrawn over here, which includes any properties that are delisted. And you've got the ones that are sold, the ones that are withdrawn. And what you can do is go here and say, show me the withdrawn properties only. So the difference between the two, so if I go into, so this is like 5 day, been sold 5 days. What we call sold is when something moved from being green, amber, red, available, sold subject to contract for a period, and red for sold. So green, amber, red, we call this sold. And withdrawn is when they move from being available. Sorry, wrong example over here. Let's see if we get one. When they move from being available, so if, all right, available, so green, to red directly. And usually what this means is they're just fed up with the old process of selling their houses. The agents, you know, and the mass market can't really help, you know, them solve their property problem. And these are prime people to go and speak to for more creative strategies, you know, lease options and exchange with delayed completion. So what Shania has just done is go in her area that she knows well, go and speak to all those withdrawn properties there, and then she from the address she figure out who was living there. She find them on social media, connected with them on LinkedIn, and have the conversation starting there. So yeah, really well done. Really happy for you.
Thank you. And what I'd like to share with this sold and withdrawn, you really have to be on the ball, because obviously you only got 30 days. And something that you shared with us, I love how you teach us, and you went, look, and I was going to do my red.
Can you do the accent, Shania?
I'm going to do my holiday accent here. You went, everybody. Well, you talked about going from red, amber, green, and you're saying, well, that's instantly you can see it's red, it's, you know, it's gone into amber, so you can instantly look at I know it says withdrawn and it says sold, but also that's a really quick, when you open it and you look at the details, you've got that chart of, you know,
of everything that happened before.
If you explain that to people, that's a real, like, some people they sort of see things visually very quickly, and they're not as good with reading things. And that's I just flick through my areas. And anyone that's not sold subject to contract, I'm on it. And you have to really do this daily, because these people, when they're really cheesed off, they're likely to go off and make other plans. So if they've withdrawn it, because the guy said to me, oh, I was going to re-let it, and I went, oh no, I can do better than that, blah blah blah. And yes, I did offer. Somebody asked if I offered market value, but I can, because I've got 5-year deals. So I can offer market value because it's a high capital growth area.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So within this sold and withdrawn category, what I recommend doing is go in there and go from the most recent status change, and then you can speak to these guys where they've withdrawn it today, yesterday, day before yesterday, you know, etc. So this is how you or you're the first one to speak to them just after they withdraw it, nobody else will know, you know, because it's just gone, you know, from the portal and so on. And this is where the real direct to vendor deals are, because they qualify themselves as vendors, you know, they've tried to sell their property for the last 2 years and they couldn't, so they are qualified as vendors, and they're motivated because, as you said, I think the word you said, they are cheesed off with
Cheesed off, yeah, cheesed off.
yeah.
They're camembered
I don't
off.
know. I don't know how you'll translate this in French, but I'm sure
Fed
we can
up.
find something.
Fed up.
Yeah, I know what it
fed
means.
up.
I know what it means. Yeah.
Just
yeah, that works really well.
really fed up, to the extent that I spoke to a client this morning, and she asked me what I'd been up to, and I said, "Oh, you never guess what I've done," because she knows I'm really in love with she knows you're my favourite Frenchman now, and that Fred's my second favourite Frenchman.
Yeah.
And I'm in love with Property Filter. And I told her what I've done, and she said to me, "Oh, can I give you a deposit? Will you find me some?" So it's this people are so fed up at the moment. Another property husband. Oh well, yeah.
Let's not go that on that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go on, Felicia. Yeah.
Hi, it's me, Felicia. Hi, everyone. Janet, can you expand on that one? Because it's obviously everyone's really intrigued. So basically, they were fed up. You phoned up. You got them through LinkedIn, and how did you manage to convince them to agree to a 5-year delayed completion? Can you tease out the information so we can learn?
Well, it's just you really have to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to speak, but you have to remember that you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you have to listen to what their problem is. You have to listen to what their pain is, and then you have to work out a solution that moves them from their pain. So every individual situation will be different. This guy had been renting the property. His wife had been moaning at him. He thought, just because he's always there repairing it. I've said, look, I'm going to take it over as if I own it. He's gone, wow. Do you have a portfolio? Yes, I do have a portfolio. It consists of X. This is what I do. I'm also a tax accountant. Wow. So you've got to look at your unique offering. Everybody's got something unique that they bring from their life skills.
You certainly will have a good appeal, Felicia. You know, well, I know a little bit what you do. You have the portfolio. You got your corporate background. It's similar to what Shania is saying. Like you'll be seen very serious. You know, you'll be portrayed very seriously in this conversation. So yeah, I can see this work really well for you too.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. That's very it's raised our hope. So that was a good case study. Thank you very much for sharing your.
It's fantastic, and there are so many people who I've offered some PLOs on. I used to think, oh, I'm just going to offer on no onward chain, and then I thought, no, I'm restricting myself, and I'm offering PLOs on anything I want, anything. It's mad, it's loads of letters, but then I find them on social media, and then you don't have to pay the postage, and you haven't got snail mail going through the post.
Just take us through this. So you identify the full address on Property Filter.
Yes.
I suppose you went and buy the title, so you get the names, and then you sort of figure out there's only one Guillaume Black living in Birmingham. So
no, I didn't do that. No.
It's got all this French stuff, mate.
No.
Get in.
We're in London.
So I'm in London, but one of them I went on to 192.com, and it said on so and so such and day this person moved here, and so you've got to be Miss Marple. And I thought, well, look, that the sale changed, the person changed, and he actually lived there for a year before he rented it. So I found him that way. And then the other one, I didn't have the full address, so I had to use Street View to get the door number, blow up the door number.
Yeah.
And then I went to the land registry for that one. But you can get a lot from 192. If you get really good at this, you can avoid paying the £3.
Well, if I get a 5-year lease option, I'm guessing it's very worthwhile me paying 3 quid in it.
I'm an accountant. Come on, I'm tight-fisted.
Every
Anyway,
penny counts for these accountants,
every
isn't it?
penny does count. Yeah,
Yeah, right. I see. All right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for
thank
sharing.
you.
So it goes to show. So this feature is only 2 weeks old, and it just took Mark coming to speak at the Deal Final Corner last week for you to look into it, and then 2 deals in 3 days. Very well done. So thanks a lot for sharing, indeed.
And I've joined Mark's group as well, and it's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
So,
good for you.
Thank you for introducing him. He's amazing, and Terry.
I really like him. Yeah, he's a really good friend.
Did you record that? 'Cause Mark
I
who?
did,
Mark who's this-
and it will be available tonight.
Okay.
In there, it just took we've had a bit of a backlog of stuff to do, and it will be put in there in the success base, in the resource videos, and it's going to be right here over here. Whoop.
What's his name? Mark who?
Well, Mark Shaw, SHAW. Yeah.
Would it be on YouTube or just the success
It will
base?
it will be within the success base. It won't be on
Okay.
YouTube just yet. Probably it will
Okay.
maybe make it
Okay.
public next month. But the idea
Okay.
as being a member is you can action on these things immediately. So that's kind of your a little privilege that I want to keep and maintain. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So really grateful for you taking action on these things. So we build it, and then you make the calls, and then you do the deals. So that's really rewarding for us too. So I'm really happy for you.
Am I allowed to say I think there should be awards for the person who finds the most deals? I think Property Filter should give an award, and I would like to enter that competition.
So we were speaking yesterday about doing a leaderboard within your dashboard, so that the people who do the most deals, and then we reset the clock every year, and it will help with transparency, so you can see that actually this is not just me saying that people have done 500 deals in the last 12 months. You can see there every day, and you can see the people fighting on the leaderboards doing 25, 26, 30 deals. So you can see, and then you can see there, and then I guess you may decide if you want your name to be seen by the others on the leaderboard, or if you want to keep anonymous. I don't know. We had a bit of a discussion about this yesterday as a way to help us gather all the deals people have done, because there's people we've interviewed that, as far as I knew, they did 15 deals, and in the first 6 months of last year, and then I met them last week and said, oh, I did 26 deals in 2023, and it's like, oh, I had no idea, so we need to be a bit better at measuring these things. So that's maybe gamifying it a little bit, and then it's interesting what Felicia was saying about how it's giving us hope. There is really this belief thing, like I don't really get involved into the coaching and mentoring and the mindset thing, but there is really this belief blockage, like generally speaking, people don't believe there are so many deals out there. And then because we are exposed to all these people doing so many deals, like we see them everywhere, but I guess it's there's probably something we can do to help with that, and being more transparent on these things, and so you can see and reach out to the people who do well. I don't know, some food for thoughts, really. So yeah, thanks a lot for that. So Amish, can you take us through the comparables? I couldn't find a video on it. So when you are looking at any properties, so let's go into one of those examples. So what have I got? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at I had a filter with the withdrawn properties on, so of course it wouldn't show me any ones. So let's find a little house. I've got a 3-bed semi-detached in this postcode over here. So what you've got here is 2 things. So one, there's this market live data. So this is looking at the actual asking prices and the asking rents within this postcode for comparable houses, and it's doing a bit of a clever average on it. So it's removing the outliers and things like that. So like the average comparable asking price and the average comparable asking rent. So this gives you a bit of a statistic view. But now this is only looking at the properties that are on the market. Now, if you go into the comparables, so there's 2 ways you can go into the comparables. I always go into the comparables from a property detail view, because like this, by default, it sets all my criteria. It looks at the actual postcode of my property, the actual property type, the actual bedroom count, and I've got the results basically are layered for me in something that makes sense to me. And then with comparables, there's different things you can look at. You can look at comparables, sold comparables, or then, but these would be the further back in time. Or you can look at what's currently available, what's sold subject to contract, or what's recently been withdrawn, all the way to what actually the transactions that actually completed. So this is how you would set it up, by saying, oh, I just want to look at properties of a certain EPC to within an EPC range. If you want to filter out certain things, your bedroom counts, or if it's leasehold or shared ownership, etc. So you're really looking at things that make sense, and you can go on your exact postcode within a radius around your postcode, or you can go on a postcode sector or a postcode district. So you can take different views on how far you want to go and look at these things, and then you go back in time. So first of all, you can see all of those properties that are available right now, and without making any statistical operation. This is just giving you the average asking price of all of these, the average price per square meter, or in square foot if you've set a property filter in square foot, all of these available properties that fit your comparables criteria. Then you can go back in time to see the same thing, but with those properties that are sold subject to contract. And you can go further back in time to see those properties that have been reduced. And you see there's always an interesting thing, because every time you go back in time, it seems to go down, 342 for what's available. And then what's sold subject to contracts is 325. And then you've got those withdrawn ones, 337. So always, in the main, it's always below the current asking price, which tells you there's always a difference between the two. And if you can go even further back in time, looking at the land registry. So these are the completed properties. And so you could say, I only want to look at the properties in the last 6 months. So I've got my properties over here. The current displays, you've got the property address, the distance from your property, the actual price completion, and then you've got a square meterage range over here. And with just a few days now from, so it's probably a week or so away from bringing back having the same format as these, with the images, the bedroom counts, and etc. So everything will be in the same sort of format. So that's kind of the idea. And in a similar way that we look at those properties asking price, we can also look at anything that's available to rent or recently let or recently withdrawn, for example. So you see that there's something that's let sort of 6 months ago, and something that's available, and it's more or less, both of them are more or less around the same price, 1,200 for a 3-bed semi. So that's kind of how this works. And just to share with you a glimpse into the future, so short term is bringing the pictures and the bedroom count into the sold as well. So we've got everything on the same format, and then working on that's going to be a bit later on, but working on the table view over here, you'll be able to exclude, certain things that you assess are not really comparables for a reason that is your own, and so it will change the average and things like that. And then if you want to go even further into the future, the comparables things will be built in your property detail view. So this is going to change in a way that there's going to be less information displayed on the one page, but there are going to be different little tabs within your page where you'll have your property sort of details to start with, then second tab around comparables, another tab around market data, another tab around crime rates and things like that. So it's going to be a lot more digest, but still all in one place. And the idea is that you'll be able to save which comparables are actually comparables in your view, and only keep the ones that make sense. Is that sort of helpful, Amish?
Yeah. So you said the last sold is going to start having images and details, so we'll be able to have a look at the quality of
yeah, that's
property.
probably 2-3 weeks away. Yeah, I've seen good progress on this, and we've built the old infrastructure for it, so now they are just collecting the data and running some tests. And so yeah, I'll be this is something you guys have been asking for a long time. So, and it's took us months to do. It's been more complicated than I thought it would be, but yeah, we're very close now.
Okay, great. And the other thing was, is this then, are we able to export it so that we can show investors?
So so not at the moment, but the idea is that within this property detail view, well, you have the multiple tabs with these comparables that are unique that you've picked which one are. The idea is you'll be able to do it from there, but not currently. I'll make a note of that. So very good insight.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Yeah, images and exports. Yeah, thanks a lot for that. So then, yeah, the whole idea is, here we've got this this shareable link. The idea will be that within there there'll be the comparables you choose. That's going to come later as well. So, and then this shareable link, you'll be able to have it in a shareable link like we have today. But also in the future we'll want to have a PDF as well. So yeah, thanks a lot for that. The more you ask these questions, the more urgency it pushes on us to say, okay, let's push this, on top of the pile, So thanks a lot. Awesome. Dilip, I will go through the question. I'll come to you, okay?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. Raj, is there a template for lease option letters on Property Filter, or anyone got a draft? So think of don't try to push your strategy into a letter. Think of every letter and communication you do as a lead magnet. The only reason you would send a letter is to get people's email address or get people Facebook account or get people phone number so that you can have a conversation on WhatsApp, so you can have a conversation on emails, basically, so that you've got this channel of communication. So I'm always making this joke about me being an HMO landlord, and I get these double-sided landlord letters where page 1 is explaining me how we're gonna agree a price right now. But what we're going to do is actually we're not going to pay you right now. And then on the flip side, we're going to give you a guaranteed rate for 5 years. So it's describing me a lease option, but I'm a stupid landlord. I'm scared of what I don't understand. And this sounds very, very complicated, and I don't know who you are. And I just ignore the letter. So with your letters, like don't try to sell anything. Don't try to push any strategy on anybody. You just want to use your letter again as a lead magnet, to collect, contact capture who lives at that property, who owns that property. And so I would recommend, if you use this the ChatGPT integration here with the direct to vendor, you just go with a very basic. So whatever is the situation, if it's got a short lease, if it's multiple agents, if it's been back on the market, you've got very, very simple, snap. Not just a very simple letter you want to send, then your second letter, etc. All you want is to have the conversation started offline. That's all you need, So there is no don't buy into these things where I've got a special lease option letter template, because the reality is you've not had an opportunity to listen to them to know what really is their problem, so you don't know if a lease option is going to work, So just send these letters to get the contact details, Raj, if that makes sense. Okay, Amar, can you share the 192 link here? I'll leave this to Shania.
I've shared it, on further down. It's just 192.com.
Yeah. Okay. Debbie saying awesome. How many deals done last year? So of what we know of, there's been more than 500 deals done last year through Property Filter. But we're not very good at collecting this kind of data, so I can only share the ones for which I'm sure. But I don't know. There's probably more. Every time I go to some networking events, there's some people. Some members are reaching out to me and say, "Oh, thanks so much. We've done another couple of deals this month, and I didn't know about it. So it's got to be even more than that. So the market's really changed, so it's really, really good time to you know, to be engaging with the vendors, putting these offers in, etc. You know. Felicia. Amit, Guillaume, did you say last sold? Yes, that's right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we're gonna get the images and the bed count in the last sold. Just a few weeks away now. Amar, Guillaume, can you go over the deal calculator templates, please? Yeah. Dilip, do you want to put a note, your question in the chat, and I'll come to you like this. I take them in sequence. So Amar, can you go over the deal calculator templates? Yeah, cool. So within each of your properties, you've got this little deal calculator sort of tile over here. And the idea here is you'll be able to add a deal calculator for every strategy. So you've got a different way of calculating for buy-to-lets. So it's something that is ready to let. There is no refinance option in there, and you've got a long-term either a singlet or an HMO tenant in there. It's just people on ASTs basically. Then you've got your buy refurb refinance over here, which is the same thing, but there's an idea that you add value by doing some works, and then you refinance. So you've got a value. There's the price you buy right now, and then there's the value after you've done the works, and then all the refinance and etc. Buy to service accommodation is buying something that is ready to go, and you're just putting it on the Airbnb or Booking.com, etc. So it's buy to SA. And so there's no like big works and the idea of refinancing. Buy refurb service accommodation refinance is what it says, is the same. We buy a property, we do some works to add some value, we run it as a service accommodation, and then we try to get some money out by refinancing. Flip is when we do some work and we sell the property, and the metrics will be different, you know. So you'll have for your buy to let and buy to SA, you'll have your ROI and yield will be your main metrics. For your flip, it's going to be the profit, you know, when you sell. And then rent to SA is going to be the same. Rent to rent is for HMOs. Rent to SA it's for short-term lets, etc. And then the idea is that we've got other parameters, you know, like how long of a rent-to-rent contract did you agree? Have you got a rent-free period? What is the rent to the vendor, etc. And then your lease options over here is again a different metrics. Now with the template, so we've got generic templates. So we've loaded for every one of these just a generic template so that it doesn't all look you know, like really empty when you do the first one. There's already some pre-filled and suggested numbers, so you can just edit something and it gives you a bit of an idea. So these are, you know, you've got the strategies over here of the different types of deal calculators, you know, the different parameters you put into it and the different outputs. And then there are some preload templates, you know, the generic ones. And then anytime you do and build a lead generator, it will remember it so that you can use it as a template. So for example, if you do a lot of 3 to 6 bed HMO conversions, so in your buy refurb refinance, you can say, all right, so this is a very similar property to the one I bought down the road over here, which was in this postcode, and I gave it this name. So you can load, you know, you can use a previous deal calculator. There's lots of a previous deal calculator you used as a template. Okay, so your question was around templates. So just so you know, there are different strategy deal calculators over here, which are different parameters, different inputs and outputs in terms of you know, what it's calculating. Again, buy to let, it's your purchase price, your mortgage and purchase cost. You got your rent over here. You can add multiple units if you're gonna have an HMO, but it's ready to let, you know. There's no idea of refinancing and adding value in this strategy, you know. So if I do the same with buy refurb refinance, and I might use one of the templates, one of the previous, you know, deal calculator you've used. So same thing, you've got your purchase price, your purchase cost. There's some refurb cost in there, and then there is all the parameters around your property refinance. What is the new value of your property after you've done the works? What kind of product will you use to refinance, and therefore what money left in will you have, etc., etc. So that's kind of the idea over here. And then within this, there's the deal stacker over here, which is a place where you can access the comparables, the stress test, and other things. You got here all your deal calculator templates. So you can create your own templates over here if you like. Or you've got all the ones that are linked to other properties. So there are some basic and generic ones, generic templates that are part of the system, like I showed you just earlier. And then these are all the properties where I've got a lead generator, somewhere. So this is just a repository where all of your deal calculators are in one place. Did that sort of answer your question? Can we show?
Yeah, thank you very much, Guillaume.
Amar, yeah, awesome, thank you. Glenn, will we be able to white label the PDF for investors and agents? Yes, the idea is that from here, you'll be able to have your own background image. Let me take a note of this. White label deal pack. Yeah, the idea is you put your own image in the background, and then you'll be able to put your own logo over here as well. So that's very much the intention. Raj, so it is best to do it verbally after getting the lead. So I'm not sure, Raj, what was this? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, sorry, about the lease option. Yeah, you never want. So when have a look to tonight or tomorrow, the recording from Mark Shaw, he goes through how he does basically one lease option a week. So if you go in the resource videos, and at the bottom here, in a few hours, tonight and or tomorrow, you'll be able to watch Mark's recording, and then he explained it exactly how to position yourself with this. So you never want to say lease option in a letter you send to someone. It's just the best way of wasting your money on paper. So yeah, and Shania hinted to this just earlier. She agreed to lease options today, but she never talked about lease option. She agreed with them about exchange with delayed completion, the principles about paying, agreeing a price now and paying later basically. And then you just be mindful. People are scared of what they don't understand, and they'll seek for advice from the people around them, which will be the wrong advice. And so they'll just never understand. If you tell them lease option, they'll just run for the hills basically. So yeah, just the letters are here to get you to speak directly to the owner by email, WhatsApp, or on social media. And then in your negotiation, you want to make it as simple as possible. Have people to agree on the principles of the transaction structure, and then you don't have to use jargon and things like that. Any jargon you use is just going to make people scared, and yeah, people are scared of what they don't understand. They'll then seek advice from people who don't understand the creative strategies either, and then the whole thing falls apart. Yeah. Sorry, let me go back to where we were. Debbie, will lease option work for newbies without a portfolio? I don't see why. There's lots of people who built their whole portfolio around these. So, for example, of what I know from some of our Property Filter members, what they do is you can agree on like a rent-to-rent agreement, and then as you build a relationship and you show that you're a good managing, basically a managing agent for their property under this rent-to-rent agreement, if they are signed and closed that they'll be happy to part with their properties, you can turn all of these agreements into lease options. So there's quite a few people who do this because they've built this relationship over this rent-to-rent agreement. And also there's plenty of people I know, basically, yeah, there's nothing wrong with starting with the lease option. There's nothing, there's nowhere that says, you can't do a lease option because you need to have a portfolio first. And yeah, most people I know who are scaling fast, they mainly use this lease option vehicle, and then the market is really good for it at the moment because there's a lot of uncertainty. People want to agree a deal before they feel like their house might lose value, etc. So it's more about the perception. It's nothing to do with the reality of the economics of the market. Most people don't understand it. It's very much to do with the vendor's perception of what's happening. And again, like Shania said, if you listen carefully to them and you can sense this sign of that they are getting a bit worried about what might happen to interest rates and this and inflation and that, you know, you can offer the uncertainty to agree something, get it all done and dust with, you know, within a few weeks, you know. So, oh yeah. Felicia, I love to buy a portfolio. Is that in Property Filter? So what you can find, Felicia, so you can create a lead generator, for example, where you'd say only show me the. So let's let me duplicate this one, for example. So I'm in Liverpool and I go. All right. Let me show. Let's look at all the properties that are owned by companies, for example. So let's have a look at that. Have I done something stupid? This again. Over here, specific filter. I want to look for properties owned by companies. So that should be the one. Liverpool. Company ownership. Right, it's a lot more than I thought they would be, but let's have a look. So all of these normally they'll be owned by companies. So there is a property here, a flat here for sale at auction that is also owned by a company. And so you can go and click on the company's house over here. So when you're selling a flat at auction, it might be that your business is to trade properties. But that's probably not going to work. They have been established for too long, and they might have lots of properties. Here we go. So they're a bit too big. You know, 457 charges, but that's kind of the idea. You want to identify those properties that they're selling quite a bit. So it might be worth having that's the second property they're selling in auction. So you might want a conversation with these guys. So let's look at this one. So another property owned by a company, and then this is how you can look into these guys. Okay, really, you want to look at the more recent ones, because these will have lots of stuff. So let me see. I've got something else.
Gilel, in the download, you know, if you can do an Excel download of this search.
Yeah.
Can you add can we have the company name added into that search? It would make it so much easier.
I know.
Are you able to do that?
Probably possible. Yeah. I'll make a note of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really great. Thank you.
That's kind of the idea, and you probably want to identify those which they've bought in the last 10 years. They might have paid too much for it, and you know, and they might be disillusioned by the whole idea of doing property, and then or actually there's no rule, you know, like everything might work, you know. There's another one, and then you can see in there. So usually under the charge, they'll have previous company names. So under the charge, which is not always here, there'll be the information about which mortgages they have, and so you can identify that they have multiple properties. And so that usually works. Your Housing Limited. So that usually works quite well. So let's see. Oh, that's a housing association. So I would look into this. That's probably the best way. And the second best way is to go and speak with letting agents. So you can identify on Property Filter some of the letting agents that are the most active, and then you can speak to them, basically say, no, these are your criteria. You buy tenanted properties. You don't, you know, it's really complicated and annoying to sell a portfolio because you know, like picture this, you know, like you are a portfolio landlord. Let's say you've got 15 properties and they might be in different areas, you know, or even if they are within 50-mile radius, you know. You walk into an estate agent and you think you're the king, you know, because you're this landlord with 15 properties. Surely you're going to be received like the best customer in town, you know. And say, hey, you know, I'd like to sell my portfolio. Say, oh, how many properties there? It's 15. It's scattered across the local area, you know, 50-mile radius. And then the agent will go, all right, okay, that sounds like a lot of work. So we let's go and view them, you know, like we need to view all of them, to value all of them. And the reality is no agent wants to do this because they have their Monday morning sales meeting where every agent is just within the branch commissioned to you know, do some sales every week. And then all of this is just a big massive distraction, you know. And then can you imagine, you know, it's just a lot of work that distracts the whole the valuer, the agent you're speaking to for a whole week or 2 weeks, just to value the portfolio. And then once it's once it valued, the landlord can say, all right, okay, thank you very much. I'm going down the road because this other guy is offering me a 0.5% less on the commission. So yeah, thank you for your help. And then, you know, the agent just lost, you know, the agent as in the employee, you know, like the sales guy in the branch just lost 2 weeks. And then that's kind of the best case scenario. And then worst case scenario, they then agree, you know, okay, so we'll list your portfolio. And then what happens is like, okay, is then I turn up as an investor and say, oh, I see you've got a portfolio. Can I view them all? Can I view all the properties, please? You know, and it's just a nightmare. Never mind the all listing things on Rightmove and all the other portals, etc. So the reality is that the agents don't really like the portfolios, but the best source of portfolios are your letting agents, and the best source within this best source are the letting agents that only do lettings. Because the ones who do lettings and sales, usually they'll be able to structure it where they'll sell one property at a time over the course of many years, to just trickle this down so that this kind of situation I described doesn't occur. And your letting agents doesn't really have this solution. So you want to be friends with your letting agents, with these letting agents, because they know all the portfolios, you know, that they run. So when someone thinks of selling, you want to have positioned yourself as someone who is going to prevent them from you know, having all these problems where you will offer on the portfolio without disrupting the tenants, without having to view all the properties. You can perform with a lot of certainty, etc. And that's kind of the best way, you know. Landlords are fearful that if they sell their portfolio, they have to vacate it. So until it's, you know, they have to give vacant possessions. So there's this belief, you know, in most landlords that they need to sell it empty. And so it's a real problem for them. They procrastinate. They don't want to, you know, disturb the tenants. They don't really know what to do, you know. So the best way is to go and position yourself with these letting agents to say that, yeah, you buy tenanted properties, 15 at a time, 10 at a time. And basically you sort of portray this reputable and professional, you know, image of yourself, so that you know, they believe and they trust that you are proceedable and you will complete on these things. And it's really solving their problem. If you don't disturb the tenants, if you don't go and do viewings, it just removes a lot of stress from the landlord side, who thinks the tenants are going to leave. You get to buy something that cash flows on day one. The vendor gets to keep their portfolio cash flowing until the last day. So it's probably the best approach I will look into. So one is you can identify those portfolio landlords the way I showed you. The second one is looking, if you create a lead generator for properties that are to rent, you can look at who are the active agents in your area, and then go and basically position yourself as providing this kind of service. And that should be good. The stamp duty for first timer wasn't working, Felicia. Let me have a look. So in your deal calculator,
It was for the first time buyer. We were going through it in December and it
All right.
didn't work.
as in it changed or something changed, or
Oh, the numbers didn't work. It was wrong.
all right, okay. Let me have a
Yeah.
look.
I can give you a good example. I've got the numbers already worked out. It's
So
370.
do you go first time buyer in England or is Wales?
Yeah,
And
first time in England.
okay, thanks a lot for that.
Mhm.
Let me check.
Because it's 0% if it's less than 450, I think. So it wasn't.
Can't
It
remember.
was.
We
Yeah.
updated it after there was a mini budget in a couple of years ago. Yeah, maybe we need to have a look. Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay. Was that okay for the portfolio stuff, Felicia?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's good. Thank you. It's good. Something to work on this year. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Yumi is asking, is there any training or to use property filter? So I'd recommend a couple of things. So one is in the success base over here. So if you're totally new to this, is one is to book this get started call. And the idea here is someone will run you through like where things are, where to start and things like that. And then secondly, is around these resource videos. So there's an overall general overview demo, which I've done a few months ago. I probably need to update it now, which is 25 minutes and showing you like where things are, the whole flow of things. And then you can go into more specifics, with different how-to videos of different things over here. And then as you get more confident and you're kind of clear on your strategy, you've got these deal finder calls over here where if you want to talk buy to lets, if you want to talk, flips and BRRs, if you want to talk lease options, there's a call for every strategy. And at the moment we run 10, 2 times 5 strategies per week. So there should be something to sort of fit your boat today and every day. So there's a couple of calls today around advanced investment strategies and rent to rent. Tomorrow is these, and so people will walk you through things. Now, if you want to do a bit more digging on different things, we have over here the knowledge base, and in there's lots of articles about various subjects of different things. I would recommend you looking into it. Any type of questions you have, actually you can put here. So you can say, for example, HMO, and then is there something around HMOs and permitted development, so Article 4, there's lots of content basically into this. So have a look at that. And then another thing, so again, is just to share with you where this is going. All of this will be merged into something a bit more educative and organized, like a proper course. So we want to launch a basic course that covers all aspects, not basic, but let's say kind of fundamental courses that run all aspects of everything you need to know, and how they integrate with Property Filter, so you can find deals for every strategy. So that's something we're working on in the background, and the background there's going to be more of it basically there. And then we'll still have the partnerships with education companies. So that's once you know what you are looking for and where, we can recommend you some people for every strategy. If you're into sourcing, if you're into HMOs, if you're into different things, so that people can help you with actually implementation if you're looking for more like coaching and mentoring. So that's kind of the
It's quite mild outside, eh?
Sorry, Daniel. Oh, sorry. Okay, Dilip, I'm not sure if I am putting the filter correctly. There are 3 properties on Rightmove with 0 mile radius, but I cannot find a property filter. Can you please search this postcode? LE3. Okay. So yeah, so if it's on Rightmove, it's on property filter, just by the nature of which we get the stuff. So if I can go into the quick search, actually, I don't have to say things, so I can just go LE3 over here, and that's going to show me all the properties that are in LE3. This wants to come up. Yeah. There we go. So I'm not putting a criteria. So this is pulling everything and anything. So there's more than 500 properties. So yeah, I would go around this. I would say if for some reason you believe you are missing out on something, go into the lead generator, put your full postcode over here, and maybe put a price range, that's just going to capture these properties. And then if you got some Rightmove links you sort of can't find, you can go into the chat over here, go into the message and say, hey, I can't find this property, and the guys will send you the property filter link for it, because it's just by definition, if it's just the way the thing works. if it's on one of those online portals, it's going to be pulled through property filter. So yeah, that's probably what I would do, Dilip. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Mo, can you do commercial properties? So not comparables. No, there's no comparables for commercial properties because it's not quite the same. You know, it doesn't exist. So I don't know, Mo, what you mean. But you can't. There's no comparables with commercial, so it's more different use would attract different yields, different. You know, it's all asset management strategies. The same building will be worth 3 times more than than building next door because of the quality of the lease, the covenants of the having a strong lease with a good blue chip tenant. It's just the nature of commercial properties. So there's no comparables. It doesn't quite make sense. So it's more you're looking at individual yields on commercial property income, and your yields will depend on the type of industry you're in, the type of tenant you have, the quality of your lease, etc. So it's not really something that can be built into this, because 2 sheds, 2 shops will be worth 3x. One will be worth 3x the other. One will be worth 0, and the other will be worth 1 million. Just based on, is it empty? Has you got a good tenant in it or not? Basically, so a lot of that sort of makes sense more. I don't know if I answer your question or. Yeah, let me know. Any question, you can feel free to pop in the chat as well. Outside of these calls, the guys are pretty quick to come and help you. So Danny, one of the other system I use indicate demographic deprivation rate. Yeah, that's all in there. So if you go into your market data over here, you go into this census data over there, and then you can go into, there's dozens and dozens of criteria you can pull. So if you want household deprivation, you can go and zoom on any area, and then you can say deprive in 1 dimension, 4 different dimensions. All of it is explained here. Education, employment, health, and housing. So these are the 4 deprivation dimensions. So you can say they are deprived in 1 dimension, in any dimension, so or 4 dimensions. So that's kind of all your criteria. So if you go there and say, I want to see all the areas where it's deprived in all 4 dimensions, which are going to be the worst, and you can see the kind of composition here. If you want to look at the cool and nice areas, you want to see household with no deprivation at all, and then this is where, oh wow, the majority of this place is clear. So all of this is here. You can look at this household deprivation. You can look at household size, median age, all sorts. Everything is in there. I use this deprivation indicator quite a bit, as well as in the housing here. What is cool is to look at tenure of what they call tenure here, and it's telling you if an area is more social housing rented area. So like this block here is like 65 social housing. This patch here is half of it, 70% of it, etc. So the social housing areas, but also if you got a refurb project, is it going to be more of a flip or more of a buy refurb refinance? And you find in areas where properties are mainly owned by owners, it's better area for flipping because your exit market is basically owners, and in areas where it's mainly rented, it's a better area to hold buy-to-let properties. Basically, they will be comparables for other buy-to-let properties, and it's not going to be a place that necessarily appeal to first-time buyers or residential buyers you want to flip properties on. So yeah, there's lots and lots of stuff you can look into there. So hopefully that helps, Danny. Yeah. Ash, what would be the best way to find properties with land for planning gain? So I would go in. So a couple of things. So you can set up lead generators. So if I go into this, for example, you can set up lead generators with commercial, and you can look for those industrial or land properties. That's one way. Or if you are if you stay in the resi, I would go into the keywords over here, and then you can look at things like things like garden and garden, include like potential to extend, annexes, and things like that. So there's a bit of something outside. So yeah, I would go and play with these. So yeah, that's probably the way forward with this. Awesome. Sorry guys, I'm trying to whiz through as I'm mindful of everyone's time. Was that okay, Ash? Probably.
Yeah, thanks. I think we just have an investor who's got like very specific needs. He wants like 20 meters of garden space, like to the left or to the right of the property rather than the back. So that's why it was kind of like maybe a bit too niche for the current filters.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good. Interesting question. You can, because anything we can build everything. So it's understanding your need, and then we can see how we can. We've got a few ideas of how we can make this work. So it's understanding how niche is this, or is this going to move the needle for many people? Every time we release a feature, we think like, is this getting our North Star matrix is how many deals we're getting people. So by adding this withdrawn thing we talked about at the start, it's like, wow, in 3 days someone gets 2 deals, so that's really got a big impact. So it's understanding if we do something around that, is it going to help you? And lots of people do lots of deals. I've got a few ideas. I'm gonna have a bit of a think about how we can do this. But that's probably not something. I've got a few ideas on how to make this work really well, but it's not probably something that we're going to be doing right away. So it's probably a few months away, because we had some plans to do certain things around that, around land to surface ratio and different distance from outbuildings to boundaries. And so it's maybe one for a bit later. I'd be really, really grateful if you pop your criteria in the chat over here and say, okay, look, I'm looking for this niche thing. Be grateful to see what you think. That'd be really helpful. And then like this, we have a bit of a record about the ins and outs of how this work for you. And then the likelihood is it will take us a bit of time, but we'll build something that helps. Is that okay?
Sounds great. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks so much. Okay. We have such an advantage using Property Filter. Thank you so much. Am I asking when is the next call? So there's plenty of calls. So basically, if you are new, I recommend going to these get started calls. We run them every day, and it's just a whiz through where things are in Property Filter, so you find your way, where to start. And then we run these deal finder calls 5 p.m., 6 p.m. every day, 11 a.m. and 12:30 on a Friday. And then you speak to me every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. So I'm doing more of the advanced stuff. It's maybe, I won't necessarily cover the basics. I'd go maybe into some more advanced things. If today is going to be fast for you, I recommend going to some of these other calls. Yeah. Danny, perfect. Okay, great. Kate, is there any way to work out if an area is on the up in terms of deprivation? I'm not quite sure, to be fair. It's a good point. It's not something we actively look into. So people invest in property for different reasons. I invest to get the cash flow right now, and then any capital gains, is a bonus. But this is coming from, I'm guessing, from a place where you don't really care about cash flow, and your priority is more to bank big capital appreciation on the longer term. And it's not really something I've sort of looked into that, in a way that I can satisfactorily answer your question today. True things. I'm not quite sure how we can help with this just now. What is really interesting, so I don't really look at this directly. I tend to look at demand in terms of how quickly, like in your market data, but you've got this live market map. it takes a few seconds to load. Let me see if I just go after semi-detached and terraced houses, for example, in these areas. I tend more to look at how one postcode behaves against another one, where how quick things sell, how quick things rent, and there are usually indicators that the price are going to go up. And I don't personally look at how great the area is, because I'm not going to live in it myself. It's good to understand the tenant types. This is why there is this deprivation thing. But then if you go here and you look at time on the market, time to rent, and things like that, this is how you can see how hot is the hotter rental market. So all of these areas around Coventry, they rent really quick. So when something rents really quick, what tends to happen is that the agents put the price up, and the yields have got a tendency to balance themselves all the time. So when a rent increases, the yield of my property over there increases. So there is a tendency because yields tends to balance, and people tend to buy property for a particular yield, so they'll agree on a higher price, and it pushes just the price up. So rental demand precedes rental price going up, precedes yields going up, precedes property price going up. And you can look in a similar way to property for sale on the market, but the cycle time is a lot faster with rentals. So it's probably, these are the indicators I look at. And then I look at it once every 18 months, like it's like, all right, this is going to be good enough for me. Let's go with these areas, where there's a really high rental demand. And then I double check to see is it also a place where it's quicker to sell. And I know by overlaying these things that, all right, so these places are performing better than the average, so it's likely the price will go up. And then I only look at the deprivation and all these other stuff, that we were looking at before, just to inform the tenant types or the exits. And I won't ignore an area because I don't like if it's nice or not. So I don't really tend to look at it. I look at it after as an exit, So I don't know, that doesn't really fully answer your question, but hopefully that helps you a little bit. This was more based on China's comment that area are good capital growth. So I'd be, so good capital growth is exactly that, and you'll know your areas very quickly, basically. So just think that every time a property sells quickly, the agents think, oh, that sold really well, I'm going to put the next one a bit higher. Or every time something takes a long time to sell, this is just by dichotomy. The agents valuing properties is very much based on how quick and how fast things sell at what price. And when things sell quickly, they just put the price up a little bit by another 5K, 10K, oh, it sold quickly again, let's put it up again, and etc. It's just how they get it. So that's really more the kind of view I take on these things. And then, none of this is gospel, like it's really my view. And by all means, if you got other methodology and things that work for you, like just no problem. Cool. Can we get the recording of this training? So it's in the Facebook group. I broadcast this in the Facebook group, but I'm also reluctant for you to just go on the recordings. So the reason why I don't make these Wednesday calls, because I've got 2 years worth of this, available, is that I don't want you to think, like I've seen so many times, that I need to go through all the training before I start. I need to go through all these calls before I start doing anything. The truth is, you are on Property Filter now. There's a couple of live calls you can and should attend when you start, and you're ready to go. There's no backlog of things you need to learn. It's just you learn by doing. So it's all about speaking with vendors, speaking with agents, positioning offers, and you'll get more confident as you go and do it. So I was very reluctant to build a library of these calls, although everybody likes them and it's valuable, etc. Because I don't want this to be a place where you feel like you need to watch all the recordings before you start. So they're on the Facebook group, and I purposely make them a little bit hidden in the Facebook group posts. And then by all means, come to these live, get the value, you know, as and when you need it, come and get your question answered. But yeah, you don't need to watch all the recordings before you start. You know, the best thing you can do to learn is actually book the viewings, send the letters, speak to the vendors, speak with the agents, and you know, get some deals under your belt. Okay. Nick, guys, I'm going to whiz through these things. I'm really mindful of everybody's time. With the last sold map and market data, any chance of having smaller area, please? Postcode sectors. So yeah, so you can. So the live market data looks at anything on the market right now, and this is updated every day. You know, I think we update it every week. Every Sunday, this is updated. This market data is looking at every asking price, every asking rent in the country, and then grouped by postcode. And then the last sold over here is looking at so I'm just going to go with a random one. Is for you to dive into one area and looking more at the actual last sold thing. So over here you'll have CV1, the full postcode district, but then you can go into the postcode sector if that answer your question, Nick. You can go into the postcode sector over here, and it is looking at actual transactions, you know, and you can put your filters over here, you know, with your property types and things like that.
Hi, Guillaume. Just on that, what I was trying to do for some areas, some properties I was looking at where I couldn't get comparables very easily. I was trying to get pounds per square meter or per square foot value. So ideally, it would be this postcode only, because what I'm finding is in some of those, even when you go into those tiles, as I call them, like CV11 there,
yeah,
or CV12, you can see there's a whole load of difference. You've got 152 properties in CV12, whereas only 7 in CV11. And if you're, I don't want to get into analysis paralysis, but if you're trying to get, say, that street, what has things sold for? If you've got 152 properties, you can get some vast differences. So I just wonder if there's any way.
So this is where you can go street by street, property by property. So if you can own onto this, so it's very, it would be very, very difficult to do this on the live market data, but on those last sold, because you can really see on street by street what's been happening. So you got an actual visualization of all those comparables. And remember, in a few weeks, we'll also be adding the pictures to this. So you're gonna have a lot more information into this view here. So you can really see on that street what's been happening.
So that will include things like number of bedrooms or detached, semi, terrace, that kind of thing.
Yeah, on most of them. Yeah.
Super. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't pick up it was you from the H. Sorry, but good to see you. Kate, that's really helpful. Thanks. There's just so much useful data on there. If you know where to look, it's so obvious. Yes. Yeah. So come on these calls, you know, like ask the questions, you know, you know, they are really valuable for me because every question you ask, it shows that things are not obvious. So it helps. It's a very good insight for me also to come back to the guys and say, like, let's change and tweak things a little bit because there's this very valuable thing over here, but it's people couldn't find it. So maybe change a little bit the way we display it. Amit, so yes, that's a good point. Yes, yeah, you don't want, I know, you know, you're on property filter because you've the YouTube doom watching and binge watching should be behind you now. It's time to go and do some deals. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us as we went a little bit over time as well. Have a very good week, and looking forward to speak with you on the Facebook group, speak with you in the chat, and see you in live in this very room this time next week. Thanks so much. Have a very good day.
Thanks, Guillaume.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Bye bye.